in my shamanic tradition and kind of Aboriginal tradition, um, the medicine wheel is a time where the easiest way to think of the medicine wheel, it's like it kind of goes through the seasons of the year. And so it starts in the east, which is springtime, and it goes to the south, which is summer, fall, and I'm sorry, yeah, west is fall, and then the north is winter. And so I want to spend a little time with where we're at with the seasons. We're like, we had fall. The equinox was September 21st, 22nd, somewhere in there. And now we're moving into winter. And so the fall, and a real quick thing, spring's like new beginnings, the vision of the new, the initiating the new, the offering our intention. The south is in the summer is when we're developing that and we're learning and we're doing trial and error and learning about the new life that we've awakened in the spring. And the fall is the completion and the harvest. We're like gleaning value from the new things that we've cultivated over the year. As we move into winter, we're going, back into that time of introspection, where it's kind of the time between the old cycle and the new cycle next spring. And so we're moving right now from the fall into the winter. And so we're moving like in the summer and even in the fall. Some of us had like this Indian summer. It was really nice outside. We were outside. The days were relatively long, at least in the summer, they were very long. And there was lots of light. There was light, long days. And then as we move to the winter, the days are getting shorter. And then most of us that are watching this just had this time change that happened. And like on, Sunday or Monday, all of a sudden it's dark and it's like 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's like, what? And so it's a time when this change, I think, is the most noticeable. It kind of hits us. It's like kind of in our face that it's like a wake up. It's like, wow, it's like no longer summer for sure. It's probably not really even fall much anymore, because the days are really short. And if you think of what's happening visually when the days get short, our range of vision it starts decreasing, right? When it's dark, we can't see. Our world is smaller. When it's light, the world is big. We can see far. And then when it gets dark, so it's like has this kind of closing in on us feeling, perhaps. At least it does for me sometimes. And it's a time when we naturally go inside. It's a time when we move from fall to winter. We're going into this time of introspection. And it's a time, and introspection is a time when we kind of decide, what worked and what didn't work from this previous year, this cycle, this previous year we did. And then we might think about, we might reevaluate, what's important to us now, now that I've gone through this year, what matters to me now. It's updating what's important to us. And then thinking about what we might like to create in the next year, and what changes we might want to make, and things where we want to put our focus and our time and our energy. And so it's this time when we go inside, and it's a feeling time too, because the nights are long. We're spending time inside of ourselves now. Some of us have roommates, families, and significant others, and so we can share with them. So we're with them more, perhaps, and we're going. Maybe even some of us go to bed earlier. So there's a time when we're in ourselves more. We're not distracted by the shiny objects and the fun things that are going on outside in the summertime. We're more in ourselves, and this is. There's a lot of value in this. There's a lot of value of all the times of year, but it can be a little disconcerting, especially those of us that, aren't like volunteering to feel deep things. And all of us, I think it just is like, whoa, here we are. I guess I'm be sitting with myself more, and there's not much going on. And hopefully there is things going on, but you know what I mean? It's kind of closing in on you. And there's a real feeling of that I think really kind of hits us pretty hard this time of year when the time changes. And I think that's when you notice, like technically they could say the equinox is when it shifts in September, but then there's Indian summer for a month or two. And I think now is when we really start feeling it's like, whoa, it's winter and it's going to be a long winter. It's going to be cold. There may be snow. You know, there's not going to be much going on. I got the holidays and I got January and February. I barely survived COVID emotionally. You know, those of us that are living, like I happen to be, you know, living by myself and my cat, my trusty cat, but it's like I'm going to be lots of nights to myself, perhaps. Now maybe that'll change, but for now, it's like as I go into winter, I may be spending time by myself. And some of you may be living by yourself. And even if you are living with other people, you know, it's your range of people that you interact with might decrease a little bit. So anyway, what my thought is like, how can we work with this time of year? The first thing we can do is embrace it. Okay, it's just like accept that there is a change going on. I might not be comfortable with it. My mind might be like, oh no, not again. I don't want to be in winter, not another winter. But maybe some of you like winter. Maybe you like to go skiing or snowshoeing or whatever else. But if that is this closing in, the first thing we can do is embrace it. Well, it's okay. It's time that I can spend more time with myself. I can be in my feelings. I can reevaluate what matters to me in life. And I can go with the vision and just kind of be more in my yin discernment phase. I can be in this introspection and I can embrace it and not run away from it and allow myself to feel, which can be scary. But it seems to be less scary if we actually embrace it rather than run away from it. I think the idea of it is scarier than actually doing it, is what I find anyway. So that's one thing you can do. Probably the biggest thing. But there's other things you can do too. No one says that you have to do this alone. So maybe there's not as many natural gatherings as there is in the summertime or the fall. Maybe there is for the holidays, but you can stay social. You can find support. If you're going to go in and feel and you're going to reevaluate your life and you're going to be introspecting and discerning and feeling deep feelings and having deep thoughts, you know, it might stir some things up. And then it's great to have support, like people that can support that. And you don't have to do it by yourself. You can call up a friend, you can share, you can have people over for dinner, you can go do things. And I think a lot of times we just kind of, there's a tendency to isolate more in the winter. And sometimes that's okay, but we don't have to do that. We might have to work a little harder, but we can initiate, and maybe there's some other people that are also hoping that we kind of, you know, initiate with them and get some things going. So that's another thing we can do. And so, so these are some things, and a lot of it's just being aware of what's going on. Like, it just, I mean, I guess it's kind of obvious when, you know, it got dark at 4:30 the other night, that it's just like, oh man, that feeling of, oh wow, here we are. I guess it's winter. That feeling is kind of what I'm talking about. And, you know, it's kind of like just being aware that there's this change going on and I am adjusting, and that you know, I'm connected to the earth. I am part of the earth. Some would say I am the earth. So as the earth seasons change, there's seasons changing in me. And it's just like, if I understand that and think about it, and like I said, embrace it, maybe it's not quite so daunting and can become more enjoyable. So that is my video. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope you enjoy your week, and maybe just allow yourself to adjust. Sometimes people say the time change, you know, knocks them off and throws their energy off or makes them tired for a week. Allowing your body to adjust and just kind of allowing yourself to kind of come to terms with what's going on. And then just kind of notice how that feels and see if you can embrace a little bit. And then, that way you can enjoy your fall going into winter. And I will see you in a week.